News in the local newspaper. I expect most of you look at it.
This is Gordon Astley doing schools programmes. After this, he would go on to present the final and slightly lamented series of Tiswas. We caught up with him in 2005 to ask him about his time on the programme.
I wonder if you could just come over to your over to your telly, duster, bring a duster, your hanky'll do, and could you just dust around?
This is pathetic. It's Coventry Cathedral. Most people be reading the Bible. Look what I'm reading.
The Phantom enters the room. It's a bit like those flicker books many may have seen.
It was here, 1 million years ago, that the Tiswas was first invented.
How did you get on Tiswas?
Somebody told me that the Tiswas gig was coming up for grabs, and I blagged my way into the head, Lewis Rudd, head of children's entertainment, and said, "I'm your man." Met Glyn Edwards, and he said, "You're our man," and I was the luckiest guy in the world as far as I was concerned.
What was the atmosphere like on Tiswas?
It was a roller coaster that was already going when I arrived. If you weren't drunk by 11 o'clock in the morning, you had to learn to get drunk by 11 o'clock in the morning. And it was a roller coaster, and it was heady stuff, but we got a very hard act to follow, Chris and Lenny and John, and it was a very hard act to follow. Not too sure if we followed it well, but we tried to do a children's show called Tiswas, and I'm not too sure if we succeeded, but that was the hardest bit.
A drop of booze, isn't
Oh,
it?
he's the only alcoholic beer in the business.
And you're off to America with him next September,
Well, we'd like
aren't you?
to tell the people it was scheduled, in all the press it was scheduled that Hercules was going to...
Favourite moment, I think, was when they did, and it was my idea, that we all get taken away at the end of the show by our parents, like we've been naughty boys and girls. Nobody was looking at us, just Sally. But my mum and dad came into the studio, smacked me round the head, said, "Come on home," and we all had to go home like crying schoolboys and schoolgirls. And because of that, I've still got a permanent record of my mum and dad.
Gordon's dad is giving him a clip round the ears and being cheeky, and Foggy's mummy is telling him to put on his nice warm scarf and gloves. Thames Auntie Kath isn't standing any nonsense in her naughty nephew. The Phantom's there.
How do you feel working in radio compares to TV presentations such as Tiswas?
Tiswas taught me that I was a radio personality, not a television personality. Tiswas taught me that television technology came first and personality, and I'm such an admirer and married to people in television, and they can cope with it. I love radio because I'm in charge. Radio is a one-man operation, and also as you get older, your voice doesn't. So if there's any radio programmers out there, I still sound like that, but look like this.
Richard the Pionheart granted the good citizens of Coxheath a royal charter.
Do you feel like you were regarded as Chris Tarrant's replacement, and do you think that you could have made the programme your own given another series or two?
The answer to that question is no, 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 and no. I never replaced Chris, that wasn't the idea. I'll tell you who I replaced. I replaced Sally James. And Sally James replaced Chris Tarrant. Check the tapes.
Yes, 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 yes. Oh, go. Oh, Step forward, Sally.
I didn't, Sully, it's cut. Oh, you go far, No,
it's the only way.
You stick with me, lad, you'll go far.
Chris Tarrant, Lenny Henny, Bob Carriage, John Gorman, they're all working on OTT, but did they ever meet with your team?
No. It was almost a Berlin Wall put up between us. They didn't want us to meet the old team. They didn't want the old team to meet us. Subsequently, I've met Lenny and we get on well and all that. John Gorman, Chris, we've met and we've said hello. But during the time of the programme, they really didn't want us to meet, and it didn't happen.
Derek! That was amazing.
glass, is it? What is it again? It's...
I don't know, but
It's sort of sugar glass, I think they call it, don't
it's a
they?
bit stuck in me heart.
Keep it coming in, that was...
How or when did you learn that Tiswas wasn't coming back?
They said to us, Tiswas isn't coming back. And we all thought, oh, wow. No, we actually thought there may be another series, but the one thing you don't do to a TV presenter or a disc jockey is tell them that they're about to present their last show. Because you can imagine the sabotage and terrorism that could be carried out. On the last show we knew, and there were people started little campaigns, Save Tiswas, but the politics and the business meant that we knew Tiswas wasn't coming back. And hey, I was just one of the 7 dwarfs, I couldn't influence things.
It's Olivia neutron bomb in your telly this morning. Nice of it to come on to what could be the last Tiswas. And as you'll notice this morning, I'm wearing my Save Tiswas t-shirt. And throughout the summer months, I may appear in your local markets asking you to sign petitions and buy one of these. Well, the lad's got to make a living, hasn't he?
Do you think it was right to end Tiswas how and when they did? Or could it have evolved further? And would you have wanted to continue with it?
I think they were wrong to end it when they did. They should have ended it a year earlier. Always leave when they want more. That's my theory. That's with hindsight, 2020. 2, you can't reinvent it. I did live road shows. Hi, Chris. How are you, mate? I did live road shows and on the name of Tiswas and OTT. And we didn't have to do shows because so many Saturday morning shows afterwards had gunge, had stuff like that. But remember, Tiswas was not the first programme to throw a custard pie, and it wasn't the last.
How do you like that? She didn't even say goodbye.
Earlier on, I was asked what one of my proudest moments was on Tiswas. It's when we got a letter from Spike Milligan, who loved the show. We invited him on the next week. I'm sat down, trying my best as a neophyte TV presenter to look my best. Spike Milligan walks across camera, turns back, and puts a custard pie in my face.
Put an end to your evil regime. And here is the next election.
How many of you out there can say, you were flammed by Spike Milligan? I can. Tss.
I'll be loving you all. And for an encore. Well done, Spike. The Queen! Where's my Queen? I'm a man to see the Queen of England.
Great to be on Spike Milligan's show this morning.
Just been asked about custard pies and gunge and water. Because the union and health and safety, you had to be so careful. We were only allowed to custard pie and do water in certain places, and if the water actually went somewhere else, they threatened to pull the plug, the technicians and the unions. Remember unions in television, folks? And we had to be so careful, and the custard pies weren't custard, the baked beans weren't baked beans, and Sally refused to be flammed with the rest of the stuff that we were flammed with, and who can blame her? Because that makeup must have been so expensive, Sally. Coventry traffic, everybody. My fans, they know I'm here at the Britannia. It's always the way.